All right, good morning. Big news in just a few minutes. Oh wait, we have a government shutdown. Will that impact the market? We'll find out. Let's go! Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Hey, my name is Wayne. Welcome to my home office. Yeah, so anyways, typically we have weekly claims that set us up for NFP tomorrow. But the United States government is on, how should we call it, sabbatical. And so there is no Bureau of Labor Statistics or Bureau of Economic Analysis or Bureau of, well, anything. So, yeah, we're not going to have a release at 8:30. And I think even if the government unshuts down, aka reopens, I don't know if the BLS is even able to launch or release non-farm payrolls tomorrow. But cheer up. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll have ISM services, which is still important. It's just not released by a government agency. Yeah. It's released by the S&P 500. No, sorry, the S&P, Standard & Poor's. Sorry, the S&P 500 is an index. Anyways, cool. So, what are we going to do today, huh? Well, earlier, I was going over ISM manufacturing. Okay, that came out yesterday. Okay, cool, fine. We went over risk gauges. We went over a bunch of things today. Bitcoin at $1.19. So Bitcoin up, yields are down. That's great. Oil, fine. S&P 500. Yeah, well, we had a negative ADP. All of that makes sense if you understand monetary policy and behavioral finance, okay, which is something we talk about all the time. Let's get a headline news update.
Gold hovers close to record highs on safe haven flows. Dovish Fed outlook.
Goldman lists 2 reasons why gold prices may exceed its $4,000 forecast.
Production outages in the copper market. Commerzbank. FTSE roughly flat in cautious trade. Experian plunges sharply.
South Africa total new vehicle sales rose from previous 51880 to 54700 in September. U.S. inventories rise. First signs of oversupply. Commerzbank.
Crypto today. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP extend gains as demand for ETFs surges. Gold prices edge higher, remaining close to highs post-U.S. government shutdown.
Speculation about a major production increase in November weighs on prices. Commerzbank. Oil edges lower for 4th day on oversupply concerns.
Now we have all of that projected out. Weeks ago, we've talked about this oversupply stuff. So oil's dropped from 67 to 61 and change. Well, that was all to be expected and projected. What else is going on in the world? Unemployment rate in the Eurozone, 6.3. Ooh la la. Yeah. Balance of trade, Australia. Okay. In particular, for economies like Australia, this balance of trade is super important. Okay. Now, why is it important? Well, okay, GDP is equal to C plus I plus G plus exports minus imports. So what's X minus M is the trade balance. Cool. So if X is greater than M, the currency strengthens. If X is less than M, the currency weakens. So if you're a currency trader, shouldn't you know that? Seems to me like you should. Okay, so let's talk about this. Australia has two major exports. They export a lot of things, but iron ore and coal are the big ones. Okay. Cool. All right. So if they sell this to foreigners, let's say China, they export the product. Okay. And what does China provide Australia as compensation? Bitcoin, Shiba Inu, Doge, Ethereum, renminbi, RMB. No. Okay. Aussie dollar. So China then has to, okay, this goes to China. And then China, to pay for it, has to go to the interbanking system to buy Aussie. So, right? So demand for Aussie goes up, the value of Aussie goes up, and it's only because of this transaction of iron ore and coal being sent to China. Okay, so why was it so terrible? Well, you know there's issues going on with iron ore and coal between Australia and China right now, right? Am I wrong? Or, uh, Hmm. Let's grab something quick, but BHP iron ore shipments continued despite Chinese deadlock. So there's something going on, is all I'm saying. And of course, you should know it and you should research it and all that kind of stuff. But this is only 12 hours old and they wrote a report on it. China bans iron ore from Australian mining giant BHP. Sanjay says, I love your old setup pivot. Which one's the old one? Do I have a new one? We just watched a video from 2008, and my charts are exactly the same. My advice is exactly the same. My process is exactly the same. It was so great to see. But that reminds me, if you're part of Investor Boot Camp and we're doing the watch party, I'm not going to do it today. I know I'm supposed to, but I want to continue to focus on the launch of TRADARS 2.0. Now, Richard says, well, that could hurt Aussie trade balance. Yeah, and that's what we saw last night. Anywho, people thought 6 and they got less than 2. But you kind of have to know these things, right? So anyways, that was our macro. With lack of news, I'm just going to do simpleton version of our pattern recognition. I'm not going to do deeper dives. And look, you're either a bull or you're not a bull. The Fed's either going to cut more or they're not going to cut. Like, there should be no new information today that would radically change your point of view. If you log in to your charts every day and you're like, well, I'm going to look at my MACD and my RSI and they're going to make trading decisions for you, you've already failed. Right. You know, is that right, Richard? Hey, if you guys are located in some beautiful exotic location, uh, invite the Wayne. So there's no weekly claims, there's no government, right? Yeah. All right. So anyways, we'll use this as an opportunity to really just look at market conditions. But there's no claims today, there's no NFP tomorrow. But we did get ADP. We are going to get ISM services or PMI, ISM is the US version. Okay, cool. So we got something, but not the typical stuff. So just looking at patterns, let's just say, so what does the market look like? Mixed right now, mixed right now, mixed right. Oh, okay. So be cautious, but fundamentally, I don't think anything's changed since yesterday. You're either a bull or a bear. Okay. So when we look at Bitcoin, 15-minute chart, it's showing risk on from a neutral position. We had a threat, but it flipped. We had a threat, same threat, so 15 and 30, pretty much the same thing. The 4-hour triangle showed the consolidation, and now we have a breakout, so a pullback long and gone on a 4-hour. And daily is a giant maybe, so if the 4-hour works, it'll probably work for quite some time. Meaning we reach 120, maybe you buy a dip and we're on our way to 125, 130. Easy peasy. Okay, what do you think about the 10-year T-note? I'd like it to go up. That's my opinion. And a slight breach to the upside from consolidation on the 4-hour. And we were under threat recently on the daily for the 10-year T-note. But once again, it looks like we might have turned game on from the bottom of the channel and could continue to the up. So yesterday we were under threat, and today a lot less under threat. Gold, everybody loves gold these days. What do the patterns show? Okay, as you probably know, we like to use SWOT analysis for this. So let's go through these quickly, and I'll show you how you're supposed to be eyeballing this. Okay, you ready? Strength or weakness, strength. Strength or weakness, strength. Strength or weakness, strength. Strength or weakness, strength. 15, 30, 64 hours. No pattern on a daily. Okay, great. Now, the next thing is this leg an opportunity or threat? Opportunity, 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 threat. Does threat mean down? No. It means if this moving average doesn't hold, then your next opportunity to buy would be the bottom of the channel. And if it gets, but the next leg is down. Now, if it turns, that would be strength with an opportunity. But it doesn't mean sell. It means buy at the moving average, buy at the trend. So bullish opportunity, bullish opportunity, bullish opportunity, bullish, but you're probably early. But if these things rise, then this kick off the moving average will work. Nice, huh? See, going through all your charts first with no fundamental or even pattern to measure direction and opportunity or threat in the market is just a total waste of your time. So you're supposed to do all this, create a hit list. What should you be buying today? What should you be selling? And then once you have organized sort of like the quality of opportunities, remember, I think the greatest value of traders, right, is that shows you all the things that are not worth your time. It shows you by not showing it to you. So it says, look at this, don't look at that. Now you have to say, okay, so, let's open the screen here. Okay, S&P 500 was consolidating. Okay, great. So it kind of tells you temper your enthusiasm, but does it change the fundamentals? No. We were consolidating because we were waiting for important news. Then we got the news. Now the leg is up. So what's the next thing on this 4-hour chart? Well, if we make this higher high, then you probably want to dip, buy a dip. So it's bullish, but the pattern was bearish. Not bearish, sorry, neutral. Because a series of lower highs and higher lows is non-directional. It's consolidation. So we have now appeared to have broken out of consolidation. So you, as a trader, what should you do? Well, maybe you should look at that chart and see if you can start buying dips. Now you do your technical analysis. And you can see where we were yesterday. You had the opportunity of buying at the moving average or buying at the bottom of the channel. Okay, so let me draw it. Okay, the support for you was here or here. Cool. So there's a down arrow. There's a down arrow here and a down arrow here. Does that mean sell? Are you joking? Are you kidding me? You would sell an up channel on a daily chart. Really? So you sell incredibly strong bullish rallies. Really? That doesn't make any sense. But you're like, but wait, it has a gray down arrow, so it's a sell signal. No, there's no signals here. There's no signals, dude. This is a pattern, and it says, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This is strength with some threat. You still need to know how to trade. How do you trade? Well, probably either the moving average or the bottom of the channel. Dude, pretty simple. Great. But look at this. We don't see any bullish or bearish or neutral patterns or reversal patterns on the smaller time frames. So is it going to be easy today? Maybe, but it's not easy now according to pattern recognition. Cool. So it's going to be a good day. I'd like to remind you, no watch party at Investor Bootcamp today. I'm going to save my strength to work on Traders 2.0, but we will do our swing trading group today at 4, which we do every Thursday. What do we do at a swing trading group? Oh, we plan all of next week on a Thursday. Which means if you show up on Monday and you're like, oh, so what's the plan this week? We're already beating you. You're not being competitive. We're 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of you. If you show up and you're like, hey, what's going on, fellas? What are we doing? Are we buying euro dollar or what? Dude, right? It's like taking candy from a baby. Easy. You're a liquidity event. So anyways, and on a positive note, I suppose, TRADARS is awesome. TRADARS 2.0 is revolutionary. TRADARS 2.0 about to launch is the future. It's going to make a Bloomberg terminal look and act and be stupid. Crazy. TRADARS 2.0 is crazy. So I need to get it ready to launch. So that's going to be some of my focus today. And what else is going on? Well, I have been nominated to join the board of directors for the Firefighters Foundation and help the community and help firefighters and their families through their endowment and foundation. I did an interview for 2 hours yesterday. I think I did well. So I think it's going to happen. How neat is that, huh? So that'd be a real honor and privilege to be able to serve my community. And I'll be done the Citizens Police Academy by then. Yeah, cool. And so having done the community response team training, and now I'm doing the police training, which is intense, by the way. Oh my God. I'm getting a pretty good sense of what it's like to be a first responder, even on just a little simple, in a simple way. And I'd like to support them as best I can. So I think I told you the other day in my police academy, I was asked to pull over a car with the lights on at night and approach the car, and which I did. And I'm like, my name is Officer McDonald. I'm with the police department. I pulled you over for a traffic violation. Could I have your driver's license and your proof of insurance? So he hands me his driver's license. Then he said, do you need my insurance? I'm like, yes, sir. So he leaned into the glove compartment, right? Handed me a piece of paper with his left hand and shot me in the chest with his right hand. Dude! Uncalled for and unnecessary. So, anyways, having talked to some of the police officers, they're like, yeah, you know what? It could be a bank robbery. It could be domestic violence. It could be someone driving without a seatbelt. It could just be a broken down car on the side of the road. You never know which one's dangerous and which one's not. And he said, they're all the same. As a first responder, they're all the same. You could walk into a domestic dispute and get stabbed. And all you're trying to do is, break up an argument. Yeah, craziness, right? So anyway, this will be another way, because these academies, the emergency response team and the police academy, they're short term. They're only 6 months of training. But if I can serve on the board for the Firefighters Foundation, I could help the community and firefighter families for years. Yeah. Oh, you don't see swing trading in, let me check that out. Swing trading right here. Now, what I think might be happening to some, and I can't address it today, but it'll be addressed very soon. Some of you guys are still on QuantBox from like 2 years ago. And I'm like, hey, you know, at some point you should transition to TRADARS, but, you know, I don't want to force you. Uh, and now I've kind of forgotten about that. And so years later, I think some of you are still over there. And so right? You might be over there, over at QuantBox, which gave you access to the content here at TRADARS. But because I'm in transition now into a totally new infrastructure, that tying of the groups is obsolete, essentially QuantBox being retired. And so that you might have access to TRADARS, but you wouldn't have access to this based on the changes that are happening. So hang on, man. There's some big announcements, some big updates and changes happening very, 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 very soon, tomorrow or Monday at the latest. And it'll help you make that transition. That's my guess is what's going on. Okay. So the duct tape broke. So hang on, Danny. Okay, we'll get it all fixed early next week at the latest. Huh? I'll give you an opportunity to be able to move and transition over. So, anywho, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. And for those that have tradars.com subscription, okay, today at 4 p.m., we will do some trading. Cool. I'll see you guys soon.